The own nature of a desert is hostile to life itself. This type of rough and unique places are known for reaching extreme temperatures, handling water shortages, and generating an inhospitable environment. You don't need much more to be scared, although the desert seems to be a magnet that attracts every type of mysteries, dangerous creatures, or simply strange things. If you think that you'll not find any kind of monstrosity in them, just consider that the deserts cover 20% of our planet, so it is very likely that you end up encountering with one of them, sooner or later. Lost cities, abominable creatures, miles and miles of sand walls. These are 7 scary things lurking in the desert. Number 7. Cola Cactus. In the southwest of the United States, you'll find a large variety of sharp and thorny plants, like for example in the deserts of Sonora, Colorado, Yuma, and Mojave. However, today we'll concentrate on one of those plants that surprises anyone with their peculiar characteristics, the famous Salendrapuntia fulgida, or hanging chain cola. It's a species of cactus in which it grows long chains of fruits covered in thorns. Besides, they're so abundant that often cover extensive desert areas. While the scientists have their doubts about the jumping capacities of these plants, the locals affirm that if you get close to one of them, these will throw one of their chains, making its thorns to stick on the clothes, on animals' fur, or on anything that dares to get too close to them. Despite the scientists' opinions, the locals still think that this cactus species have a life of its own and that they're willing to keep moving through the desert while they throw their thorns. Number 6. Haboobs or sandstorms. Away from the absurd prophecies, a sandstorm or haboob in Arab is a common meteorological phenomena in these desert areas like the Sahara Desert in Africa, the Gobi Desert in Mongolia, and the Taklamakan Desert in the northwest of China. The truly curious thing of these storms is the different genesis of them according to the planet's zone. In the United States, it usually appears from an ordinary storm, or in the case of Australia, from the presence of a cold front over the desert. Nevertheless, in every case, there's a phase of the storm in which strong downdrafts are produced, that when hitting the ground and encountering dry dust, it causes it to rise through the air. In the middle of the desert, this produces a long wall in every way, a true dust and dirt wall in suspension that swallows everything in their path, traveling to a speed up to 12 miles per hour and leaving a practically null visibility. The most recent and spectacular example of a storm of this style was filmed on July 10, 2018, near the city of Phoenix in the United States. The most affected area was Maricopa, about 12 miles southwest of Phoenix. Fortunately for the neighbors, a little while after the sandstorm, a regular storm was produced and the rain partially cleaned the atmosphere. Number 5. Zarzur, the Lost Oasis. Throughout the centuries, the only ones that dared go inside the immensity of the deserts were the slave merchants that traveled the well-known 40 Days Road or Dar el-Arba'in in big caravans. Along that path that linked the Nile with the slaves' market of Al-Fashir in Sudan arose many legends, some of which were collected on the book The Hidden Pearls. They told the stories of 3 hidden oases in that long sand sea, one of which was located in the walled and white city of Zarzur that treasured inside large riches. It is said that this legendary city is located in a valley between 2 mountains, guarded by 2 giants that make sure that no one enters or leaves. It is also said that its inhabitants, the Zarzurians, have European aspect and not Arabic, how it would be expected. There are many explorers that have ventured in search of this lost city, and perhaps the only one that was closest to find it was an Austrian explorer that found a place that he named as the Water Mountain of Gidefri, a water deposit founded more than 4 centuries ago. Unfortunately, there weren't giants, and ensuring that this is the location of the famous city of Zarzur is yet to be determined. Perhaps, someday, the wind of the desert would blow hard over the dunes and it will reveal the site and the secrets of this lost oasis. Number 4. Skinwalkers. In the desert in the southwest of the United States, The Navajos, the largest tribe in the area, believe in a scary legend about creatures known as Skinwalkers. Their native language, Yi-Naglushi, means something like the one that walks on all fours, and they are normally described as a hollow dog. According to Count, a Skinwalker was once a witch that reached the highest levels of priesthood of her tribe, but uses her power for evil, transforming herself in animal to provoke pain and suffering in others. These shapeshifters used to transform themselves in animals like coyotes, owls, foxes, or crows when night comes. But that isn't the scariest thing of all. They say that they used to prowl in the cemeteries. Those who say to have had an encounter with one of these creatures assure they do everything to cause terror, from knocking on windows to knocking on walls. Some affirm to have seen an animal silhouette peeking through their windows. According to the legend, they are very hard to capture, and those who manage to follow their track and find their true identity have to pronounce the name of the demon to end with it. Even so, the Navajos are so scared of them that it is almost impossible to talk to them about these creatures. Number 3. Ogoy Corcoy. Covering approximately 500,000 square miles, the Gobi Desert extends from the north of China to the south of Mongolia, making it the 5th biggest desert in the world. The American Roy Chapman Andrews from the American Museum of Natural History led several expeditions to Gobi between 1922 and 1930. On his work, The Reconquest of Central Asia, Andrews not only leaves a vivid description of the picturesque landscapes of the Mongol desert, but also had the time to document the beliefs of its inhabitants. So it became the first Western to share the stories that Gobi's nomadic herders told about the terrible Ogoy Corcoy, also known as the Worm of Death. It's a legendary creature that measures approximately from 3 to 4 feet long. It is reddish in color and has thorns on its body end. Touching it would mean death. The ones who have seen it assure that this animal moves underground, killing everything that is on its path. Despite the numerous expeditions that were made to find it, this cryptid is still part of the folklore, but maybe just for now. Number 2. Yuca Man. Between the deserts of Colorado and Mojave, in the south of California, it's the National Park Joshua Tree, home of the grim landscapes and a scary creature similar to Bigfoot, known as the Yuca Man. Its legend seems to be originated in the 60s, near the military base 29 Palms. In this remote and lonely location, a series of events had taken place that have remained unsolved for decades and that are related with some kind of humanoid entity that wanders through the desert. The first important sighting happened in 1971, when the military infantry of this base informed to have heard a heavy breathing and wailings. He decided to leave the base and investigate, and he encountered with a giant creature that looked like a hairy monkey, about 8 feet tall, with bright eyes. Since then, there are numerous reports about sightings that come from campers and hikers that is sure to have had an encounter with this being. Besides, some of them presented photographs of giant footprints and strange figures as proof of their existence. Notably, even the natives that lived in California, long before the European colonization, considered these creatures as supernatural entities with names that often translated to hairy demons. Number 1. Erikas Monster. The arid desert of Atacama in Chile creates a narrow strip of land uninhabited at the west of the Andes. Considered as one of the driest and inhospitable deserts of the earth, it seems to be the perfect home for a strange prehistoric monster, the Erikas raptor. Witnesses that are sure to have seen it have described them as a bipedal creature that crosses the road and approaches their vehicles. In the early 80s, it was described as a kangaroo, but over the time, people that said to have encountered one of them compare them with the velociraptor of the Jurassic Park movie. This fact made the cryptozoologists start to think that it could be a dromaeosaurus that managed to stay alive through the years. The cited witnesses in different newspapers that picked this news described those beings as enormous kangaroos, two-legged dinosaurs. They all coincided that these creatures were about 6 feet tall. The deserts are lonely and arid places that have become the stage of numerous horror stories, mysteries, and unexpected encounters with unknown creatures like aliens. Would you like to know more about these stories? If so, Check out our next video.